Beowulf has suggested that he will rid the mead hall of this Grendel, and immediately steps up Unferth, the unfriendly one, and he challenges Beowulf. He says, "Oh, you're that Beowulf that purports to do all these great deeds. I've heard of you." And he says, "You are not that great a man. I hear that you lost at a swimming match with a man named Breca, and that you'll lose at this too. You, like everybody else, will die under the hand of Grendel." The role that Unferth plays is a traditional role in the courts of the Norse. It's the court role of the Thyle, or the Thule. The Thule was a courtier who normally sat at the right hand of the king, and he challenged the claim of anybody in court who made a public claim. If you made a public claim in court, you had to be able to back it up and show manly prowess and courage in backing it up. And the role of the Thyle was to challenge you and to force you to defend your position. So on the one hand, Unferth plays that role of the Thyle, challenging Beowulf and forcing him to show himself to be a true warrior. But notice also that it's not just a question of him being the Thyle, not just a question of him being what's called the devil's advocate in the Catholic Church. He is also there to stir up trouble, the text says. He starts an argument, and he's very rude to Beowulf. And so here Beowulf is again faced with a challenge similar to what he faces when he confronts the watcher on the cliff. Either he says to Unferth, "You're wrong," and is rude to him, and therefore he can tee off the whole of the court there, the Danish court, or he buckles and says, "Oh, you're right, I'm going to die just like everybody else." I think one could also look at it that Unferth is a man who is infected also with this Grendel effect, this Grendel disease, in the same way that the watchman was infected by it. So he's automatically paranoid and challenging and a little bit hostile. So too is Unferth. Unferth has seen people die. He's seen the Grendel attack for years now at the court, and no one can stop Grendel. Unferth can't stop Grendel. I mean, Unferth is a warrior as well. Why can't he stop Grendel? He seems to have resigned himself to the misery and the awfulness that Grendel poses. And yet he hasn't left the court. Notice that he's still at the court and he's still at the feet of Hrothgar. And consequently, he is almost like a leech himself, taking advantage of the situation that's at hand and making the most of it. So he is not entirely noble of purpose, the way that a Thyle might be in one of the Norse courts. Well, Beowulf has to handle this very carefully, and he says, "Yes, I lost swimming with Breca. Breca beat me at the swimming match. But I fought hundreds of creatures and demons in the water. I swam in full armor. I was able to make it to the far side of the Norwegian coast, and when I got up, I fought a battle." And so he says, even though I lost, I still did a great deed. This is a tremendous deed. So that he challenges back to Unferth, and he is able to take the accusation of being a loser and turn it on its head, and thus defeats Unferth's challenge openly in court. And everybody cheers, and they all say, "Oh, this is a man to defeat Grendel. He's quite the warrior." And then Wealhtheow comes around. Wealhtheow is the wife of Hrothgar, and she exhibits generosity and courteousness and good grace. She is in some ways the epitome of what a queen should be. And she even puts under the care of Beowulf her own children, saying, "Protect them. Such a man as you should protect them." And consequently, she shows this generosity of spirit, like what we saw earlier with Skjold. She shows a graciousness and a nobility, which I think is the poet's idea of the paragon of what a woman ought to be. Beowulf then, having defeated Unferth, is ready to be able to meet the real challenge of the troll, which at night he will be facing. We'll see that in the next section.